Konnichiwa. You just watch your boy INCOG. Batman reaction video. And I know I usually don't record on these days. Usually I just get ready for usually I just go to sleep, get some rest, and then get ready for work. But I said I got a little time, so I said, why not? Let's react to this video, and then try to see if I can get this out for you guys no later than tomorrow. Hopefully, if the render and everything goes like quickly, I should be able to get this out to you guys no later than what is it, Monday. Yes, I should be able to get this out to you guys Tuesday. So this will be actually a third upload. Usually only do two. But anyway, guys, so I did a poll on my channel. It's gotten like 23 or so votes on it. I said, which is the next video I should do? The Abby voice lines or Artoria Pendragon's A Beautiful Tragedy. So you guys voted maturely, mostly on the Pendragon Artorias A Beautiful Tragedy by Taco Dakun. So this is what we're doing right now. It's the Beautiful Tragedy of Artoria Pendragon. We're gonna do this, and then after this, the next two videos will be regular Abby and Summer Abby's voice lines, because it's like two different type of voice lines of the character, which I'm really curious on, like, what's the difference between the two. But yeah, guys, so without further ado, let's get right into this. So play.
Check out today's piece of fan art. Fitting for today's video is Artoria Pendragon. She's in her Zero outfit, but seems to be in mid-transformation. The aura around her arm looks awesome.
Y'all about to say,
So
like,
heroic spirit Nero.
in between both? Let's see what this time about. It's only 20 minutes. Beautiful Tragedy of Artoria Pendragon. See what Taco Dakun got. Mr.
Welcome
Dai.
back to Otaku Daikun. Dai here.
What's good,
Artoria
Dai?
Pendragon, more broadly known as the original and most classic Saber in
Saber.
Fate Stay Night, is my absolute favorite character in all of fiction. To me, she's the ultimate badass, but just as much, she's extremely precious. Considering the kinds of characters I typically gravitate toward, my obsession with her surprises even me, and I've had people straight up ask what I see in her. Well, for this video, I plan to answer that question in as much detail as I can provide. This isn't meant to cover Artoria's lore. For that, please visit my more specialized video called
And I
Fate
think
Lore,
we already did
The
that
Tale of
video.
Artoria Pendragon. In contrast, this video will be much more personal, a reflection of my experience falling in love with the character, as well as doing some analysis into her design
A unique
and general
take on it.
appeal. Whenever I try to convey why I like Artoria, I keep coming back to this one image. Saber, standing gallantly in the sunset, with her divine sword stuck in the ground, lighting the way forward. This is her default stance, and we often see her in it while positioned across a vast field. It was this exact image on the box art of Dean Stay Night that convinced me to buy the show from a now defunct video store. I'd heard the name Saber, and even seen some pictures, but it all started.
It's actually
with me
how I
looking
got
at this
into it
one
myself,
image
is
and
with this
asking,
image.
Who is this person, and why is she called Saber? I must admit that the mystery surrounding her identity did play a role in my initial fascination, but even beyond that, her visual design more than speaks for itself. The way she's posed, her clothing, her colors, and the expression on her face all communicate a sense of pride and nobility.
Facts.
At the same time, however, those aspects have a delicate, feminine side to them that make that strength truly beautiful. Her armor, especially her gauntlets, indicate that she's a knight in some capacity. Obviously, later artwork really hammers home how she's a king, what with the crown and fluffy cloak, but I don't think it's too hard to guess without them. The fact that she's a leader can be gleaned from her uninterrupted gaze into the far distance. She's looking on ahead at all the possibilities that lie before her.
Pursuing
She's not
ahead.
scared, nor pleased even. Some may call her expression calm or even cold, but there's not a hint of indifference. Rather, this is clearly a look of confident determination.
Right.
She's focused on the horizon, surveying what lies ahead. The rigidity of her stance is comforting. It's clear she's a protector, deeply rooted to where she stands, unwilling to flinch no matter the threat. Her battle dress fans out to give her a triangular silhouette, further grounding her. It's an oddly satisfying shape.
Triangular
giving the
shape,
same sort of
grounding
weight
her.
one might see from characters
Really?
like Mega Man or Sora from Kingdom Hearts.
Hey, Sora.
She's a brave leader, but it's also clear that she's no barbarian either. There's a sense of grace in her design. Her armor, while shining brilliantly, does not cover her entire body. It's not form-fitting in the fashionable sense we're used to seeing on women in anime, but it still leaves room
Oh
for
my
expression.
goodness.
Of course, I'm referring to the dress. It's a vibrant blue gown with gold trimmings. It exudes a sense of royalty, has such vibrant.
If she has some
saturated
armor, but it's
fabrics
really
that were once
she got
rare and expensive.
mainly a dress.
It's worth noting that this isn't a tunic, but a full-on dress, showcasing an unhindered femininity. Let's have a look at her hair. Personally, I think Artoria has all the fixings for the ideal hairstyle. She's got some lush bangs in the front, accented by 2 longer strands on each side that dangle down like floppy puppy ears. It frames her face while mixing in an element of cute. In her
It's like
form, she wears her hair
strong,
back
but
in a
yet
weaved
feminine,
bun, tied
especially
up
what
with
you
a
get
blue
from
bow that
Artoria.
matches her gown. This is practical as well as versatile. It's got a bit of everything, topped off by her iconic auge. A single strand is all that's needed to tie her stoic elegance with a nice reminder that she is, indeed, a fun anime
So I'm gonna
character.
pause right here. So yeah,
Bonus
so
points for the fact
basically,
that they later
right
use
now
it
what
as
we're
a
getting
wagging
from
tail, which is
Artoria
one of at least
basically
2
is like
different animalistic
she's a
qualities
leader,
she
she's
demonstrates,
strong, she's
the other
brave, she's
being a
noble.
lion, of course.
But yeah, with all these type of
Colors aren't
qualities, all like these
usually my
strong
forte.
qualities, king and everything like that, it's a little femininity behind that makes her like adorable. I guess it makes her kind of iconic because like she's strong-willed and everything like that, right? But like the fact of the matter is, she still has the feminine side to her. You can see with the whole dress, you know what I'm saying? The hair styles and stuff like that. Just basically how she, even in her images, like this image right here, it's like it's strong, brave, but yet it still has some feminine qualities to it from her. It's like I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain it, but like I guess it's like kind of how what Artoria Pendragon is and why she's so iconic as a character overall in anime, in Fate series alone. So I mean, yeah. Alright, so let's get back to it. Play.
Bonus points for the fact that they later use it as a wagging tail, which is one of at least 2 different animalistic qualities she demonstrates, the other being a lion, of course. Colors aren't usually my forte, but it's clear that Artoria's color palette plays a huge part in her character as well. Silver armor,
What was that
gold
in the
accents,
distance?
blonde hair, and a vibrant blue to fill in the bulk. The color of her hair indicates her European ethnicity, though it's not like there's any rule in anime that hair has to match reality.
Alright,
That
facts.
said, it does pair well with the
Super
lining
facts.
of her dress and blade. The silver of her armor pairs with the poofy white pants beneath her skirt. I love how accents of her blue dress are etched into her armor, tying everything together nicely. In terms of making a visually iconic anime character, the vibrancy helps define her, creating a wonderful contrast.
Oh, that's
between
an
her
adorable
blue
picture right
and
there,
Green
man.
Tosaka's red. Again, there's a certain satisfaction here, and it comes with characters themed around the RGB triangle. It's like what we see from Alibaba, Aladdin, and Morgiana from the anime Magi.
Yeah.
I said this before, but I want
I
to
dropped the
return to
anime,
the
though.
idea that her
It was
stoicism is
cool, but I had
contrasted by
dropped
a
it for a
delicate
while.
femininity. We simply can't
Makes
ignore it.
sense.
A huge part of Artoria's appeal is how such an awesome character can be charging headlong into battle in one moment and joyfully relaxing in another. Sure, it takes time for Artoria to reach this stage, but the duality is still clearly baked into every part of her design. Just compare her to her fellow knights. They loyally stand by her, and while she is indeed a commanding presence, she's far shorter than the soldiers.
Yeah, I'm
she
about to
leads.
say, like, she's way shorter than
Contrary to
her
what she
noble
claims
knights
about being
and
overly
everything.
muscular, she's actually quite petite. By default, you wouldn't assume her to be that wildly strong, but it helps us accept it when her body
Petite,
is covered
short.
in that conservative dress and armor. Her feminine hair is tied back, as if trying
Wow,
to
tall
hide
is
her gender.
Artoria.
We of course learn why this is through her legend, but I appreciate how we can glean this information from her appearance alone. I appreciate even more how she does not outright reject her femininity. All the workings of a beautiful woman are there, but they don't overshadow her visage as a knight. When she lets down her hair and removes her armor, that beauty becomes a focal point. By literally shedding her defenses, it's like Artoria is exposing her heart to us. This is especially
I didn't think
apparent
of it
by
like
the
that.
conveniently placed window of exposed skin above her chest. Not only does it mirror her triangular silhouette, it also serves as a window into her soul, one that she really only reveals to people she trusts. I don't mean at all to imply that being feminine indicates weakness, but because Artoria often masks this side of herself, it comes across as especially precious and delicate.
Yeah,
We'll
see,
explore
that's
how it
exactly
catches her
that's what it
and why
is.
it
Yeah.
captivates us so. The idea is that just from a single glance, we can tell that she's a brave leader, gallant and prideful, while also exuding a delicately wrapped beauty that tugs at our hearts. Our reaction to her should be the same as Shiro's when he first summons her. In essence, this is Saber, an innocent young girl coated in layers of royalty and determination. Again, I don't want to trigger anyone when I say that Artoria's femininity is delicate. I don't interpret that as an inherent weakness. Rather, it's endearing, and it later becomes a tremendous source of strength. For as much as I see some fans praise her for not being sexualized, she's clearly not just mirroring her male counterpart. She's her own person, and I love her for it.
It's good she has her own personality.
But to me, he isn't nearly as compelling and iconic as Artoria.
Nah.
Of all the gender bends in Fate, hers is easily the most justified.
Even though Arthur is stronger than Artoria.
Visual design, without even touching upon her actual behavior in the story. I'm sure many of you first encountered Saber as part of Fate Zero, Unlimited Blade Works, Heaven's Feel, or Fate Grand Order. Those are the more popular entries in the franchise, after all. For the most part, these works make her appear totally awesome.
Limited Blade Works, definitely she was a badass. I will agree.
Appeal without looking at her own route. This means experiencing the Fate route of the visual novel, or watching the 2006 anime. I can vouch for Dean Stay Night in this case, because it really does convey the feelings present in the novel, often using direct recreations of the novel's CGs.
Oh.
What the Fate route does that the other
I didn't know that
do as well,
service can do that.
Artoria in a state of severe weakness. Because Shiro isn't a talented mage, he struggles to provide her with enough mana. He's also vulnerable to curses and charms, so she doesn't even want to reveal her true name in case he's manipulated by the enemy. This leaves Shiro to view Artoria as this brilliant enigma. She bravely and fiercely charges into battle, even when the odds are against her. She gets battered and beaten, yet still keeps standing at all costs. We quickly learn that she is self-sacrificial, willing to endure pain.
That Heracles fight was crazy.
As a knight. Because she's often on the losing end, however, this resilience makes her look like a fragile flower, lasting strong through a violent storm. For as much as she fights to protect you, she becomes all the more worthy of your desire to protect her.
I forgot her eyes went red like that. Why was that?
The wannabe hero of justice is a perfect fit for her master. They are both brave and stubborn, advising each other to value themselves more. It's not that Shiro is some sexist who can't have a woman fighting his battles for him. Instead, right from the get-go, her loyalty and perseverance inspire him to take action, especially considering that her injuries are in part his fault. In this route especially, Shiro gets various chances to witness Artoria's vulnerable side. She collapses from a lack of mana, and even has to be carried to safety. It's only by embracing her as a woman that Shiro can help her stay alive and fight to her full capacity.
You Shiro, you pick a saber or ring? Let me know in the comments. I might make that as a pinned comment, matter of fact.
Edition with the Red Dragon. Because of this intimacy, Shiro is able to dream about Saber's past and discern her wish for the Grail. The full weight of her journey isn't clear until Fate Zero, but it's obvious she wants to use the Grail so that someone else can take her place as king. She feels unworthy of the throne, and believes that Britain would have thrived under a different king. To that end, she's been denying herself the king's peaceful utopia of Avalon in favor of seeking the Grail. In other words, she's still putting off her own personal happiness, even after death.
That's wild. Even after death, you still putting out your... That's wild.
He begs Artoria to consider herself for once.
Could you guys do that?
Because his greatest desire is to be with her. Thus, when the Holy Grail finally seems within her grasp, she refuses it, instead recalling her childhood. Artoria was a young girl who was raised to be king since birth. Her taking on this burden was always a given. So by day, she loyally served as page to her teacher, Sir Ector, while being lectured at night by Merlin, who communicated through her dreams.
Sir Ector and Merlin through dreams.
Artoria was to draw the Sword of Selection. She did so while burying one wish of hers that becoming king completely denied. Specifically, she yearned to live as a normal woman, a maiden rather than Britain's ruler.
Oh, but as king, she can't do that.
The fact that she doesn't age after pulling the sword serves as a constant reminder of what she left behind. Recalling this wish, Artoria chooses to join Shiro in destroying the Grail.
She wanted to be a
To
maiden.
commemorate this, Prior to their final battle, Shiro gives back her divine scabbard, allowing her to take down her strongest foe, Gilgamesh. In a sense, one could argue that by acknowledging and embracing her feminine desires, she truly becomes complete as a person. Her slaying of Gilgamesh represents her at her best. She literally sheds her armor, revealing her dress before landing that final hit from Excalibur.
Wait, why did that happen?
She allows herself to confess her love for Shiro as her hair falls down to her shoulders.
Oh my gosh, she looks beautiful.
This is one thing I actually think Studio Dean did better than in the novel. Assuming UFO Table ever does remake the Fate route, I hope they use this idea too. Anyway, Artorias' triumph through embracing her selfishness is a direct response to the discussion she has with Gilgamesh and Iskandar in Fate Zero. Until now, Artoria had always been lacking.
Artoria looked beautiful in that right there, though, with her hair down like that.
She asserts that a proper king must sacrifice himself for the people to serve as their sword and shield. She views her colleagues' boisterous egos to be an abuse of their power. Gilgamesh laughs at her for this, and Iskandar declares a king must lead by example. A king should be both fighting and basking in human desires. A king must make love, eat, and be merry, so that his people can follow in his stead. Artoria, by comparison, is being a martyr to her people, leading them in combat and matters of state, but not as a fellow human. This resonates with her, given that she'd received the exact same complaint in life. By not embracing her own happiness, Artoria could not understand the deeper feelings of her companions.
Oh.
Not only did this lead to her rejecting Mordred, who just wanted to be acknowledged as her child, but it also drove Lancelot mad with guilt.
Wow.
He wanted punishment that she hadn't thought to provide because her marriage to Guinevere was mainly political. Iskandar's words sink in, and as Artoria reflects on her past, she reasons she is no longer worthy of being
That's
king.
trash.
I'd like to mention that while she did make mistakes in life, her way of ruling wasn't without merit. As I said before, her selflessness and reliability make her precious. Her earnestness to protect you inspires you to protect her, and I've no doubt this is what encouraged her best knights to fight alongside her. All of them, including the treacherous Mordred, deeply admired her. To that end, I'd say her rule was at least as valid as Iskandar's or Gilgamesh's. It's also quite fitting that Gilgamesh, instead of wanting to protect Artoria, takes delight in her suffering. He sees the kind of beauty I've been describing this whole time, but instead of supporting her, he wants to take advantage of her, to prolong that tragedy for his own benefit. Thus, when she finally embraces her selfish desires, she demonstrates it by finally besting him in combat. There's a poetic, cyclical narrative contained within the Fate route that the others don't quite nail to the same extreme. That said, both the other routes still display Artoria in states of weakness. She is held captive by Medea in Unlimited Blade.
Wow.
Dress in a revealing gown.
That
Because her femininity is not
image.
expressed willfully
Whoa.
here, it's associated with weakness. Artoria does eventually acknowledge her selfishness in this route, but not to the same degree of fanfare. Heaven's Feel goes about it quite differently. Here, Artoria is forced to press on with her wish for the Grail, but because of
Can't
the
be
Grail's
touching
corruption,
Artoria like
she
that,
does
man.
so without anyone else to help her. In a dark void, she desperately swims toward her destination. The face she shows is not one of relief or comfort, but rather obsession. It's as if her more virtuous self is buckling under the expectations placed upon her, and to step up to the plate, her more cruel alter persona emerges. Instead of embracing herself as a young girl, she is pulled back into the cold rigidness that she relied on to rule Britain objectively. This isn't to say that Saber Alter can't be feminine,
Big
but
Saber
in this
Alter.
specific situation, her emergence is treated as a poison. The Grail has corrupted her, and she can only be saved through death. So yeah, Saber is a truly flawed character, whose entire characterization, her fate as it were, depends on the course of the story.
The whole point of
It's
her even
obvious
becoming
that her peak
king,
moment,
basically,
the true
she can't
answer
even
to
live out her
despair,
happiness as
is when she
king.
truly embraces her desires. It doesn't make her any less of a king, nor does it erase all of the hard work she's put in. Instead, it makes her much stronger, and it makes me wonder just how much better she could have been as a king, with both aspects of her personality united in tandem, rather than having
That's
one
very
try to
true,
bury
though.
the other.
Don't ever have
To
both.
reiterate, her flaws are what make her endearing and far more satisfying than if she were some kind of overpowered Mary Sue. Her frailty makes her stronger, and once you realize that, it's possible to truly appreciate all the moments where she's genuinely happy. One might start to think Artoria's girlish, cutesy behavior at times comes at the expense of her stance as a badass. I, however, think it's the exact opposite. By getting to see the pleasant world she fought for, it gives all of her tragedy and struggle a deeper meaning.
Very.
Hopefully you all now fully understand why I love this character so much. She's a one-stop shop for almost all the things I want out of fiction. She's attractive, she's strong, she's adorable, and all of it is carefully crafted into the narrative she's a part of.
Right.
Do you agree, though?
It just connects
I'd like to
everything
hear
together.
your opinions of Artoria, including how you first experienced her. Also, what other characters do you appreciate more because of the flaws they need to overcome? Let me know in the comments below. Before I go ahead and roll the credits, I want to give a special shout out to all my $10 and up supporters.
Yeah, so that's it right there, man. A beautiful tragedy of Artoria Pendragon. Obviously, my favorite character is Gil, then old man Gramps. But yeah, what was that part at where we was looking at towards the tail end? That's wow. I think it's right here. Is it right here? Oh yeah, it's right here. That's crazy though. That's wild, man. Like her being king, she can't live out her own happiness as like a maiden or whatever. And then he couldn't even understand the feelings of her companions. That's crazy, man. Wow, like the backstory on Saber is really, that's really sad. Like her, like the whole main thing about like why she's doing what she's doing, and like I don't know, it's just because I was seeing the whole lore for the character, right? But I forgot the fact that when even her just becoming king, she couldn't live out her own life basically how she wanted to, because she putting everybody else's life ahead of hers, like their goals. Like even as her being a dead spirit coming back, she still doesn't want the grail or whatever, because she doesn't want that. She wants everybody else to live out their goals, their dreams. That's wild. I forgot about that, man. That is crazy, man. Yeah, man. Well, that's gonna be it of this video. Like I said, next video we're gonna see is the Abigail Williams. I think it's Abigail Williams, I believe, last name. Voice lines. But yeah, this is sad. I see why I say tragedy on it. That's crazy. But yeah, so hopefully I can edit this out for you guys before I gotta go to work, and it'll be getting rendered out while I'm at work, and I can get this out to you guys in the morning when I get back. So let's see what happens. But anyway, guys, go ahead and cock them out. Here.